Hello, hello. Today I'm coming to you from my current residence, and the last video I talked about what is health in a very simplified form, and today I'm going to talk about how to create that within your life. So I guess health, aka wholeness, kind of means the same thing when you're looking at terms of through the lens, should I say, of etymology. So I guess, health itself is created from within oneself. It's not complex. It's actually quite simple. Although I do understand if you're going through a very particular issue with your health, it can become quite complex when you're trying to figure out how to come back to more of your wholeness. I am not a practicing health doctor, medicine, I'm not qualified in any kind of sense. I would like to make that very clear. I'm not going to get very specific about how to create health. This is going to be a very more of a multi-dimensional sort of view, but not too multi-dimensional that we're going to start talking about stuff that's in other realms too much. And yeah, let's just get started. But I should just say, if you go ahead and do anything from what I've told you here and it doesn't turn out how the way you want, I'm not in control of what goes on. Nor am I trying to say that what I'm going to give you is terrible advice. I just want to make it very clear that this is just for pure guidance purposes, my own personal experience, understandings, other lives, la-di-da-di-da. So, I guess many, depending on which cultures you live in, will perceive health to be something that's attained through taking a pill, getting an injection, having surgery. List could go on and on, right? However, that does tend to be quite a fragmented approach to health. It's not always long-lasting and can sometimes cause further illness and disease because, in a nutshell, it's not looking at the issue usually from a holistic point of view. No way or shape or form am I trying to say that you should not get this or that done because it's a fragmented thing. Sometimes it gets to that result and you're also doing all the other things, and it's looked at more of a holistic way. And neither am I saying if you go and break your arm tomorrow that you should not go to a doctor because they're looking at a very tunnel vision, sort of fragmented approach on how to recover your arm, the bone in your arm. So no way, shape, or form am I saying that either. Although I have heard there's lots of ways to heal the bones, but that's not the point of this video, and I'm digressing and starting to get into the realm of taking on responsibilities that are not necessary, especially for me on something like this kind of platform. Anyway, so where I want to start is health usually begins actually with things like emotions, relationships, environment, programming, beliefs, connections with themselves, connections with supposed external, community, nature, spirit, la-da-da-da-da. Then I guess the more external aspects of health, become apparent in the sense of food, herbs, exercise, water, physical patterns and whatnot that assist with the health of a person, right? And from my own inner experience, what I can see at this current point, in this current moment, is that absolutely all illness, disease / whatever you want to call it, 101% starts from the emotional body. or to leave you less confused, depending on the reality and the understanding that you come from, starts from the emotions. And it will start usually from an emotion that will arise, usually unconsciously, and it'll come from some kind of relationship. It may be a relationship that you have with yourself, or a relationship you have with something supposedly external to yourself. It'll come up, it's not processed, usually because of some kind of program or belief, and then it will be stored within the physical body. And it will repeat itself over and over and over again until it forms something. And it can still continue on. It could be anything from a cold to cancer. And the reason it can still continue on, even if it forms, something as serious as cancer, is because, again, it may only be approached from a fragmented point of view, a decompartmentalization of what's going on, instead of actually looking at the whole picture, okay, of how the cancer was formed. Not just in the sense of, oh my God, we've now got cancerous cells in the body that are causing some serious trouble, but what is the programming, the emotional state of this person. Obviously, when you're coming to realization of some kind of news you have cancer, of course that's going to be terrible, but there's been some other emotional patterning that's happened. The same again with the mental state. What sort of environment? There's so many things that can be looked at and probably should be looked at in regards to getting the holistic approach of, okay, we've got to the state of some serious disease here. How do we get this person back to wholeness and oneness? And yes, I do understand at this current moment, the human is not actually designed. It's not in a state of consciousness in which the physical human can actually live forever or even 200 years at this current state, this current moment. So I do understand we are not supposed to be here forever, and it's sometimes when it's time to go, it's time to go. So I'm not trying to teach some kind of immortality here either. So yes, keeping it simple, coming back to the emotion, right? And from what I have seen and experienced, probably one of the most detrimental emotions, or should I say, one of the biggest emotions that causes illness and disease, like anger is up there. Like, if it's not stored, if it is not processed and then it's stored. But from what I can see, fear. Fear is the biggest emotion that causes illness and disease. And yes, of course, illness and disease, not just in the sense of the body, but the mind, the whole emotional state, spirit, yada, 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 can go on and on. And if you have not already come to that awareness, I'm hoping you are now. But if you're not, you still don't think it's right, that's fine. But you will be able to now see as to why we are, potentially, should I say, why we are now in a space in which we are as a collective humanity. And it's necessary. There's a whole other lot of videos I can do about why we are going through the things that we're going on collectively, but that's not really the point of this video. So, yes, emotions are not meant to be stored in the body. Let me repeat that. Emotions are not meant to be stored in the body. Doesn't matter if it's fear, if it's joy, if it's happiness, if it's love, does not matter. Emotions. Energy in motion. Energy in motion. It's simple. We make things so complex, and I do it too, so I'm just as guilty. So, now you know that, or now that I'm reminding you that, you probably already know that, you have to find your medicines that help you come back into health with that. So not through things like junk food, alcohol, television, distractions, la 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 la. You know, a lot of the times we turn to things like that. You know, an emotion's coming up, we turn to those things because we don't want to process it. It's too much, and I fully understand that. But that, not only are you not dealing with it, so it's getting stored in the body and not processing it, plus you're then putting these other things on top of it that actually can make it even worse. So, I guess I'd like to share one example of a medicine that I really enjoy. You know, medicine looks different for different people, and different ways to use it, and different variations of what you use. But dance, oh my gosh, is one of my favourite medicines. And I guess that comes back to things like music. So dance, I personally love dance. I've always been into dancing. Anyway, like you talk to a number of my family members and they will tell you stories about Melissa, little me, dancing as a young child. And yeah, so the way that I often use dance is that I'm going to allow emotions to come up. And sometimes they might not necessarily be emotions that I'm experiencing like now, but it could be something that's been stored in the body, because let's face it, I don't always live in a lifestyle in which as soon as something comes up I can just start dancing. You know, I have been known to dance in public a number of times under the influence of nothing but unconditional love, no drugs, no alcohol, all of that stuff, none of that. But it can be a little bit inappropriate if, you know, I'm speaking with a client and I just start dancing because I'm experiencing their emotions. Oh, that comes with being an empath sometimes. Anyway, also, you know, sometimes if other people's emotions are affecting you, there's also stuff going on in your own emotional body as well that you have to look at. So I digress with that. So yeah, with the dances, it's allowing the emotion to come up, it's allowing it to move through the body, and it's allowing to move out through the body. And I think the reason I love dance, not only do I love dance and music, but it actually allows the body to physically like allow it out. And like I know for some people, maybe they just need to meditate and be really still, and that's great, that has its own. But yeah, the dance for me is really good because it actually moves the body. Anyway, so yes, a tip. If you are able to process all your emotions as they come up in that moment and allow it to leave the body in that moment, then it's likely it will leave your body quicker, and it will mean that your vessel becomes or remains healthy, wholesome. Hence why creating a lifestyle which allows a lot of space, a lot of flow, maybe some alone time will help with this. You know, or just being in a lot of environments that just allow you to fully express when you need to. Now there is this kind of thing, I guess, around emotions where there can be this thing where there's like this dumping of emotions onto another, like it's an expectation that they must take it from you. Like, take it from me, I don't want this anymore. Now they walk off and then they're having to carry it. And there's a bit of like a trauma bond playing out there with that happening, but it's kind of like a digression of what I'm saying. So, you know, there's this thing about, well, you can't kind of let that happen, but you also have to allow the emotions to come up. So finding something in some way that you're able to express your emotions in which it's not being placed upon someone else to resolve. And that's why the thing, coming back to the dance thing, especially when I'm alone, it's like I'm not expecting no one else to resolve this. And I'm not expecting the music to resolve this. I'm just going to let the body do what it needs to do to get it out. There's no expectation upon something supposedly external to myself to make that happen. So, yes, there's a fine line in that, and I'm not going to go into the details around how to create that. And yeah, I'm feeling like I should probably wrap this up. There's a lot more, obviously, that could be shared around this. There's a lot of amazing other content creators online. You may even know them in person as well, that can really help people with moving through the emotions. because when the emotions are not stored in the body, it just allows so much more space for you to be healthy and wholesome. So yeah, I'm just going to leave this here. You're welcome to leave your thoughts, your feelings, any kind of ponderings in the comment section down below. You can also contact me on various other social media platforms, and I will see you in the next vlog.